What is going on, guys? Alright, we're talking WWE 12, and more specifically, Chris Jericho and The Miz. If you guys know, Chris Jericho, yes, did in fact re-sign his band Fozzy to a new, album. They have a new record deal, which means they're probably going to end up touring, which probably means Jericho won't be around full-time forever. He'll probably leave sometime after WrestleMania, and he'll be gone for a while, and he may make a return. He may or may not. And then it brings up the question about The Miz. Jericho's got a match at Mania. He's facing. But then you got Miz, the guy who headlined last year and who's doing nothing so far this year. The same thing happened a couple pay-per-views ago, where he wanted a match, he demanded a match, and he got on the card at the last minute in kind of a bullshit 3-on-3, I think it was. Coming into this one, though, Miz has been a little bitch. Give Miz a match. Give Miz a match. And he's had this huge campaign to give Miz a WrestleMania match because, technically, yes, he did headline WrestleMania last year. But last year, he also had Alex Riley. And last year, everybody says he was a lot hungrier last year. But last year, I just thought he was a hell of a lot better. With Alex Riley in his corner, the briefcase, it made a hell of a lot better storyline, than any of the thing that's going on now. Now, without there being a Money in the Bank, obviously that match isn't going to be, and he's probably going to end up being on Team Long or Team Laurinaitis. I would think that's what's going to happen with him. I think it's going to turn into like a 4-on-4 tag team match or 5-on-5 potentially between Team SmackDown and Team Raw. And it almost makes me wonder because, Alex Riley signed on to be on Team Long. He said on Team Riley on Team Long or whatever he had tweeted out. And it makes you wonder, what's going to happen? I'm excited for the Team Laurinaitis versus Team Long feud. I think it is great. But as far as The Miz goes, I don't know. I'm not a huge Miz fit. I used to like The Miz, and now just trying to see him as a legit competitor, it's kind of hard. You're pretty much top filled, on Raw now with CM Punk getting huge pushes. You got John Cena, with Chris Jericho back. You can't really compare Miz to any of those guys as much as you want to, or as much as the people want to that like The Miz. You can't do it. Not everything is as hot as Miz's girlfriend is because Maurice is fucking smoking. But that's not the point. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think Miz is going to get a match at WrestleMania? Do you think it's going to be in the, the huge tag team match? Or do you think they might actually give him just a match? Maybe they give him a U.S. title match. Maybe they give him an Intercontinental Championship match. Although he can't because of the Big Show. I don't know. I think it could go many different ways. And personally, if they did give him a match, I don't necessarily know if I'd want it to be on that tag team. I mean, because then you just feel like you're throwing him in. He hasn't earned anything. If you guys didn't see it, there was a WWE.com exclusive on WWE Fan Nation that Miz was bitching after his match. I think it was against Kofi on Raw a couple weeks ago. And during the commercial break, he was sitting there begging and saying, "Get out here, give me a match, give me a match, give me a match." And Triple H's music dropped. He comes out. And Triple H is looking at the camera like, no, this will just take 1 second. He goes in, hits a pedigree on Miz, and leaves. And, Triple H didn't show up the rest of the show that night, which is pretty funny. So I would hope that, they're pushing this angle. So obviously Miz is going to be a part of, WrestleMania in some way. I think there's no way not to, include him. Even if he is the one getting heat for Survivor Series and he's got some legitimate backstage beef, you can't not include The Miz, After all he did last year, I think it would be really, really unfair not to include him. But that is just my opinion, guys. I want to know your thoughts. Does Miz deserve to be a part of WrestleMania? Or maybe you just fucking hate Miz and you don't want him to have anything to do with the Big Show. Does he deserve that big paycheck? And I think he does. I think he's earned it. Definitely not a main event caliber match. He hasn't worked that high this year. He really hasn't done anything significant. And I can't really blame him, though. I mean, nobody thought Rock and Cena were going to lose to Awesome Truth. Like, legitimately, no way. Absolutely not. If anything, it's Rock and Cena's fault, because both of them were at that pay-per-view, and it still did not sell very well, guys. My name is Tubby Moo. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/TubbyMoo, and Facebook.com/TubbyMoo, guys. Have a great day. Peace out, nation.